and welcome back to the Harbingers D&D campaign. Woo! We are so excited to be here with you all and to be here with you all and to continue the story. We are happy to have Douse, Dane, back again with us as Douse. So we're super excited to have him back. And Greg is having just a little bit of internet problems, so he should be back.
Because alas, what is this campaign without one session having at least one internet problem?
Exactly. Exactly. Too true. Some announcements real quick. We're going to kick it off with Megan's. Megan has an announcement first.
Yeah, so this has been in planning for quite some time. But if you keep a lookout on my Facebook page, Silver Stitches, there will be Harbingers campaign plushies coming out soon.
Woohoo! We are so excited to have those Harbingers D&D campaign. Also, welcome to the chat, Madeline Cripps. Super nice to see you and meet you. Welcome to the stream. Also, yes, the plushies are coming and we are so excited. So just watch at Silver Dusk for those.
It's not far away that you'll be able to cuddle with the metallic man.
Yes, exactly. Or Madeline Cripps, cuddle with Nuri. There we go. Very own. I'm loving
I was
the
just
comments.
going for the irony of the super soft plushie of a metal hard
I love that.
metal.
Get your very own Dusty. With the miniature Dusty. No. I don't know how Megan's doing it.
Pretty cool.
That would be professional level. If you had a miniature Dusty inside, that would pop out.
That would be pretty cool. But that'll be future plushies, right? As of right now, go check our merch out. It's pretty awesome. Also, check out our merch on our website. So our website is linked on our YouTube, on our Twitch, on our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok. That's pretty cool. So go ahead, check out our website, get our merch, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. If you want some Harbingers merch, Rosemary PG Studios merch. Also, if there's any like videos and stuff you guys want to see, comment below, let us know. Other announcements, starting next week, we are teaming up with Tomes of the Chaos Bard, another D&D podcast, which is super awesome. They're pretty popular. We're teaming up with them, and we are going to be doing a 3-session one-shot featuring The Scattering, which is an event, a historical event that happened in the world of Kalimber 2,000 springs in the past. So 2,000 years. We are so excited to be teaming up. We're going to be joined by David and Becky from Tomes of the Chaos Bard, and we are so excited to have them with us. They are going to be playing some pretty awesome characters. So if you guys want to see some new characters, some intense battles between demons and dragons, you know what I'm saying? Come join us for this Scattering event. It's going to be pretty big, pretty awesome, and yeah. Let's see if you guys can influence the tides of fate. But yeah, we're super excited. And as for everything else, yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're happy to be back on Twitch. Sorry for all of the problems that has been being caused for a while. But from what I hear, our Twitch is looking good. So, super happy. Yes, Melody Wolf, we're happy we're back. Okay. Well, without further ado, I think that's all of the announcements for tonight. It's time to go into recap, done by none other than Megan herself.
Hello again. So, in last session, we have finally made it out of the dungeon holding Miles, and we are sailing away on a ship in the sky. And as we are sailing away, Dusty has a bit of a heart-to-heart talk with Miles, where Miles explains a bit more about Dusty, how he is made, why he is the way he is. And during that discussion, we have found out that Dusty's heart is actually a relic from the Harbinger of Diligence. Which, woo! That was huge.
That's small news. Small news.
Small?
Maybe
Small?
Small
maybe
news.
just itty-bitty.
Unimportant.
You forget that he has a soul now. That's the big news.
Also,
Yeah.
by the way, Harbinger, that just casually drops the name, the name of the show.
Show name
Name of
drop?
the show. Yeah, it's
Continuing on, as they are having that heart-to-heart, Nuri is basically spying on them through her owl Houdini. And because of that, her actual self looks like she's in a bit of a daze. And she's like this while Amaris is having a talk with Thea. And they're talking a bit, and I guess sibling rivalry comes up sometime in that conversation, which leads to, for some reason, Thea slapping Amaris over the head. And then a whole fight there ensues. And as this is all going on, giant black inky tentacles come up and start attacking the ship. And we do all that we can to fight these off, but nothing is working. Magic doesn't work. Weapons don't work. We are powerless against these things. But we have managed to escape. We make it back to the toadstool ring. We make it back to the toadstool ring, where we travel back to the summer court. But in order to transport a ship as large as we had, we needed a lot of frogs. And thankfully, Thea has gotten a lot of frogs. Flesh frogs, mind you, but still frogs. And as we are traveling, I think it was just Nuri and I roll for Constitution. And what happened, and the last time this happened, it only happened because Amaris was drunk, and I blamed this one on the nat 1. But again, Amaris throws up overboard, and it nearly hits Brock.
The toadstool fae.
The toadstool fae, Brock. And as soon as we travel back, Brock just peeks around the tree that he hid behind and is like, "You owe me frog." And when Amaris could not deliver, he places a curse on her, so that at random moments throughout the day, she will just see angry frogs staring at her. This has become the new terrifying thing, everybody.
Please watch the end of last session. It was so funny.
We get back to Ray's place. We now have everything that we need to perform this spell to bring people back from comas, including, which was conveniently found in Miles's cell.
Wait, I'm sorry. You cut out there for just a second. Including what?
Diamonds.
Yes.
A girl's best friend.
Girl's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And while we are there, Ray kindly takes the curse off of Amaris, so no more angry frogs, everybody. We're safe. And that is where we ended.
Mm-hmm. In the basement of Bits and Bubbles, the potion shop in Lake Mounts, you guys are currently interacting with Ray Nymph. And for the sake of Dane finally being with us. He was staying at the ship, but then he had FOMO, so he followed the group. and now he came in, right as they're about to do this. Oh no, we lost Sierra.
FOMO is a powerful force. It is a powerful force.
It is a very powerful force. There we go, Sierra's back. So, yeah, we've got, what, goats, frogs, bunnies, and sheep, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh my.
I was just going through and thinking, like, is there anything that Nuri's afraid of?
Shadows.
Shadows, but those aren't animals.
Yeah. I think we had this discussion last time, too. Yeah, no, I mean, we all have something we're irrationally afraid of.
I guess it could be an elephant's shadow.
Yeah. It does depend on your definition of irrational, though. I mean, bunnies are pretty scary. I mean, they have some pretty serious power, too.
Dang.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I guess without further ado, now that Douse is here also.
I would like to think it's less of FOMO and more of concerned about leaving Nuri out of his sight.
That's true. He was like, you know what? Maybe I should actually go. Okay. So, you all are in this room. And you guys decided not to go with the gold coins for this one.
Correct. We're not doing the gold coins, but Dusty is the one trying to help wake up the king.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Let me pull up the spell real quick, because I realized I did not. Because I'm not there.
Do you want me to send the spell into the chat? Because I can.
Yes, if you would like to... Could you put it... Yeah, that sounds good. I just pulled it up on my sheet here as well.
So first she has to do soul call, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And then
That's why she pulled out the silver bell
restore soul.
last time. Okay. Alrighty. So Sierra just put those into our personal chat on the side here. But so everybody knows what's happening, these are spells that Nuri and the alchemist have both researched over time and have now come up with the solution of how to wake people from their comas. So the first spell she will be casting is Soul Call, which does require a silver bell for it. You touch the body of a creature which has become separated from its soul and ring the silver bell, calling the soul from any plane. The target must make a charisma saving throw or be transported instantly to a location within 5 feet of its body. The target can choose to fail this saving throw. A disembodied soul uses the statistics of a specter but can speak. If a soul is called to a body, it will remain for 1 minute before departing back to the location it was summoned from. The soul is under no compulsion to cooperate, but can be reasoned or bargained with. Okay. Keeping secrets from us in your player chat. I'm sorry, Melody Wolf.
Sorry, there's just some things you're not ready for.
I mean, I did just say the spell.
All things in time.
Okay. Alrighty. So, I'm going to need my dice bag for this.
Also, Dusty is somehow always the one who goes into dreamscapes. At least the first one.
Yeah.
The second time he was sent to do the soul stuff, the dream stuff. Go do that.
All the dream stuff. Okay, guys. As you guys all gather around here to wake up the Winter Court King. King Tolith, if you remember. He's currently sitting in the bathtub. Well, I guess his corpse is in the bathtub.
He's not dead. Unconscious body.
Sorry.
It's different.
Sorry, his unconscious body that's in a coma is in the bathtub. He fully clothed, mind you. And he does have these black spiderweb veins all over his skin. You notice that it's just everywhere. Anywhere that you see, like on his face, his ears, his hands, his neck, like just these spiderweb black veins, which is very different from other coma patients that you've seen. As Dusty, you're sitting on a stool right next to the bathtub, and you have his limp, cold hand wrapped in your own. And Ray Nymph is the alchemist here. Ray has one hand on his shoulder and the other holding on to the silver bell. And she begins to ring the bell. Its sharp, piercing note just... You know what? Let me set the mood here. Let's get some music going. I don't think I have a...
Spooky vibes.
So, she begins to ring the bell. And as she rings, the room begins to get cold. You feel this magical energy in the room. And even though you're in a basement, it almost feels like there's a very light, cool breeze coming through. And I say cool in the sense of cold. Amaris, Douse, Nuri, you guys feel a shiver down your spines with this as she rings the bell again. And you guys don't see anything more, but Dusty. Oh, Dusty. Your eyes are closed, yet in a moment you feel the presence of someone in front of you. Before I continue, I do have to roll some charisma saving throws. I'm going to be using all of these dice.
All of them? Why do you need so many? That's suspicious.
I'm glad that you're using other dice. I didn't see the blood dice in there. I think I would prefer all of those dice to one.
And a couple more. I need some more d20s. I need to fill up my tray here.
I only have 64 health. Leave me alone, my poor little.
We have a lot of charisma saves right now. This is looking pretty good.
Oh, okay. I'm glad it's looking good to you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's looking good to you right now.
And you have to beat that with your 1d20.
All right, now go ahead and roll, Dusty.
I rolled some more. Here, let me add that one on top.
Ah. Ooh. Wow. Are you just
That's
trying
not
to
concerning
flex
at
your
all.
Dice collection? Is that what this is? Your dice collection?
No.
No, okay, I'm glad.
But, okay, I do have to read the results of the dice, though.
Is this combined, or is this just like super mega ultra advantage?
This is just... Yeah,
What happens if they fail? Do they just explode?
No.
That's so many dice.
No, so the part of the spell is the target, the soul that you're trying to call must make a charisma saving throw. Or if it's not, it can choose to fail the saving throw, which would then summon it to the spot here. But it can also throw or do if it beats the charisma saving throw. Oh, my camera just broke.
Oh,
I think your camera failed the saving throw.
Yeah,
so-
my camera failed its saving throw.
yeah.
Hold on a
Forward
sec.
first, it's fine.
I guess.
Oh,
King
you just
Philip
turned
doesn't
off
wanna
the
come
light.
back. That's
Huh?
real.
Yeah,
awkward.
that's what that is. Sorry.
He doesn't want to come back.
I'm pulling on the one that's the camera.
Yeah, I just unplugged it.
He's broken the fourth wall just
No,
to
you
prevent it.
unplugged the lights.
Yeah,
I imagine this is about the time when like Douse comes in,
Is the
another
camera
lollipop in his hand.
What's going on, guys? Oh, it's ruined.
It's so cold in here.
Huh? Back?
Oh,
Back.
yes.
Yay! That was weird.
Why don't you guys just light a fire in here? Come on.
Guys, this is what happens when we try to summon the dead. No.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
He's
I wonder why people think D&D is weird.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
The
No.
stereotypes! No!
Okay. So what happens, Dusty, is you feel a presence in front of you. And then you feel another. And another. And another. And another. And another. And another. And then another. And
I'm
another.
losing track here. Dusty's poor -1 intelligence can't keep up with this many people.
You open your eyes and you're actually at the hillside, in the middle of the hill. And you open your eyes and you see several King Toliths all around you.
Why did we call King Tolan? Whose idea was it to call King Tolan? Yeah, I got
All right,
an idea.
pick the real,
no,
pick the real King Tolan.
no, not like that.
We're going back generations and generations. Every King Tolan in the universe.
It's not like that. You see, no, the king tonight is not a cat. You see several of the exact same man all around you. Visually, it's the same person too. And it's confusing as they all seem to just be looking around. As for Nuri, Douse, and Amaris, you guys feel a very strong, like, undead presence, like spirit presence, you know, just in the room, and this is crazy strong. But that's all you can feel, and it's cold, freezing cold. Dusty, you're surrounded on the hillside. But if you were to count, it is so if you could count, you're counting at least 30. There are quite a few.
First
And-
things first. High or low?
Hi.
Okay. We'll go high. We'll start off high.
I gotta start putting my dice back.
Put it up on my invisible. Sorry for my lack of a board today. That's okay. Someone else will have to take note today. Cool. Okay, gotta get a high. We'll be fine. Okay. Good.
I love the theories and thoughts popping into the chat.
Okay, good. Dusty, he like looks up and he's like looking around, but the first thing that he realizes is where he is. And he looks around and he just like loses track for a second of what he's supposed to even do here. He's just like looking around and he looks down towards the bottom of the hillside specifically.
Where you see the half stone wall with bunches of stone archways, and the lands beyond are all dead. dark and soft grays.
So Dusty will look down, and he looks back up towards the kings Tolets, plural. I'm going to ask for another higher low.
Let's go low. Let's balance it out.
Okay, we'll balance it out. Okay. Okay. Dusty looks back down towards the bottom of the hill, and then he shakes his head for a moment, and he slaps his face a little bit, and he mutters to himself that I've got a mission, I've got a reason, and he turns back over towards the King Mullis, and he's going to begin walking towards something.
Okay. You do so. And a lot of them just don't pay you any mind. It seems as if they're all just like kind of looking around, confused. Some seem terrified. Others seem intrigued. Others are angry and furious.
Dusty, he's going to come up to pretty much just the closest one. He's going to move up towards him, and he's still not looking at Dusty, I would presume.
No.
Dusty will reach out, and he'll try to touch him.
You reach out and you feel that you can make contact. He doesn't feel fully there, but you do feel like it's like touching water almost, where it's like you feel it, it's there, but you can't grasp it.
He speaks to and he says, King Tulith, just gently to this one.
He turns and looks at you.
Do you know where you are?
Why, of course I know where I am. I'm in the hillside. Didn't think I'd make it here for another while. Now why am I here?
Why you are here? Do you not recall what happened that got you?
No, I need to... My goodness. Why is everyone around here such idiots? I'm surrounded by such idiocracy.
Dusty kind of nods. He says, I see. I'm here to get you back.
Back! Yes, back to my kingdom. I would very much so like to be there.
Yes.
With my idiot son. Maybe he'll finally get the right idea and get out of this stupid craft. Just bring me back.
Okay. Come with me. And he's going to gesture for him to follow. Dusty is going to begin.
What station are you?
He starts walking and he stops, and he says, he turns back. He says, I don't understand.
What station are you? I'm not going to be led around by some poor commoner straight off the streets. How do I know you're not trying to bring me to my ultimate doom or something? I know I'm on the hillside. It doesn't make sense, but...
King Tulith, you are the rightful heir of the Winter Court.
Of course I am. I'm the king. I'm not an heir. I am the king. I have inherited it.
Yes, you are. And Dusty kind of he nods. He's just yes. But I am here to take you back. Your people need you.
Of course they need me. I'm the king. I'm the best. They love me.
Yes, we mustn't muck about.
Yes, and who are you? You have no station, no rank. I shouldn't even be talking to you, you idiot fool. And he turns around and starts walking through the like crowd of King Tullets.
Dusty watches, and then he just says to himself, "Are we sure we want to bring this guy back?"
One of them comes up to you, and you see that he has his sword drawn, a different one at this point. And he looks at you and he goes, I heard there's a beast roaming here. You think we could go hunting?
Dusty, shakes his head. He's a little bit jarred. He's like, yeah, I think so. Do you know
Good.
where we can find it?
I don't know, but I'm excited for the thrill.
I see. It's an important excitement, yes.
Right now, all of these fools around here are making too much noise. They're stirring up the tracks. I say if we get to the edge of this, then we can try and find the tracks again, and we can go hunting. Take down the beast. Oh, it'll be exciting. Bring it right home. Put it on the spit.
Yes, very good.
Nice,
Very
good cooked.
Should we begin? I believe if we head in that direction, he points towards the top of the hillside. Maybe if we go that way.
Good thinking. Let's head up there. It probably is more closer to the side of the living, isn't it? He starts heading up that way. You notice that some of these versions of him are headed up to the top of the hill. Some are headed down to the bottom. Some are just kind of mingling around, trying to figure out what's going on. You notice one is rocking back and forth on its feet, oh my gosh, what's going on?
That's the real king. Grab him.
Grab him, the real one. Everyone else is a fake. She's just kind of well, it seems that the through line is that everyone around him is stupid. Does the guy keep walking up towards the top of the hillside? Okay, does he make it?
He's heading up to the top, yeah.
Okay. Dusty will kind of watch him as he goes up.
You notice...
See if he makes it to the top.
Yeah, you notice that quite a few of them actually do make it up to the top and go through the light. You notice that some of them are headed towards the bottom of the hill to cross over.
Okay. Dusty's gonna go over there and try to stop them. He's gonna go down and see if he can stop them from doing that. In his head, the only context he has for any of what's going on is what Amaris and Nuri have told him. And bottom hill bad, top hill good.
Bottom hill bad. That's one way to put it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
So he's gonna go down.
the first one that you see kind of heading pretty not the only one that's heading at a brisk pace. And you manage to stop him as he's right at the archway at this point, kind of looking on, and he doesn't seem to be crossing over quite yet. He seems to just be looking on, very shoulders slumped.
Dusty kind of comes up behind him and says, King Tulith, what's wrong?
He looks towards you and he's well, I was looking for my family, my wife.
I see.
No one's there.
Can you not find her?
She's not there.
Dusty looks towards the wall for a moment, almost to match his gaze. says, when did she pass?
I guess she could still be alive. But even then, I don't even see my mother. Nor my father. You see him almost like, kind of, he chokes a little bit, gets a little choked up as he goes, not even my daughter. And I killed her.
Do you feel remorse for that? Do you feel sorry?
I do.
What if there were a possibility for you to see her again? Not here, but in the living world.
I would want that. But even then, I don't know if I'm worth bringing back.
Why?
A king is supposed to be many things. But for me, I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel like a king. I'm just a father who royally screwed up. And now, my eldest is dead. By my own hand. That's not something I want to go back to.
King Tolth. You're able to change. Choosing this now will stop that change from being able to occur. We're not always able to take back our mistakes, but we can become better. We can change.
I don't think I want to. And that's the worst part.
Your people need you, King Tolth. It's a heavy responsibility, but you must change not just for your own self, but for them.
I don't care about my people. Not right now. I only think of my children.
Oh, I don't know.
You're talking to the one that's just the family man right now.
Gosh, dang it. Higher low.
Hi.
Okay. Higher low. Okay. Okay. So, Dusty, he looks towards the fog, and he says, you know, I have often thought about who would be here for me after I passed on. Honestly, I didn't even think I'd be able to make it here. Kind of like needs now. And then he cocks his head a little bit. He looks back up towards King Tolth. He asks, "What do I look like to you? What do you see when you look at me?"
The king who he had been like focused so much looking into the land beyond the archway, beyond the hill. He turns and he looks at you, kind of for the first time actually looking. He says, "You're a light. You're bright. And you look young." To be clear, you're not like just a light. You're like a young boy.
What?
like you're glowing, but like,
How
I mean,
tall?
I guess I should be. I guess I should be saying that to, I don't know, like a pregnant woman.
Put your
or
hand up to
something.
the top of my head. So, like the top of my head, where it is.
So for you, like, he seems to be putting his hand at the top of where your head is.
Oh, okay.
He goes, "Yeah, just a boy." Keep in mind, he is an elf.
Can I make an insight check real quick?
You're like, wait, what do I look like?
Hold on. He says, "Boy." Is this more like he's talking to a child, or more like he's talking to an adult who he views as a child
And
because he's older?
roll
I'm gonna
insight.
make it-
Roll
I'm
insight.
going to make an insight check. I'm looking specifically for his intentions on this. It was weird. It's right here. My +7 insight check. 24.
24. He seems to be like talking to you as like an adult who he views as a very young minded person. Boy as in youthful, young.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not
Dusty
like
says-
little kid.
Okay, that makes sense. That's good. That's good to clarify. Dusty, he like nods. He says, "Okay, I am here to guide you back to the land of the living. The light that I have is the light that is shared at the top of the hill."
I don't think I deserve it.
I think that, and he just kind of like slouches back a little bit. He says, "King Tolith, I don't think anyone truly deserves anything in life. I believe that there's a natural order to things, a purpose and a justice, but there are some things that need to overcome those laws, things that need to supersede those rights and privileges. Actions and decisions and emotions. Who we are is up to us. And there are times when it can seem crumbling. The responsibility of change and overcoming our own selves can weigh us down, but do this change so that you can overcome the mistakes that you've made. If you just give up now, then you will die the man you were. You will die the man who took the life out of his own daughter. Is that who you want to die as? You could choose to die as a man who loves and takes care of the family he has left. Who loves and takes care of his kingdom, his people. Are they not your family? You must do it for those who are still there.
He seems to contemplate about this for a minute. And then slowly nods. A very slow, like, come down. I will try.
That's all anyone can do.
For Anastriana.
Yes. For your people.
And he begins to make his way up the hill.
Dusty, like, he almost, like, leans over and he, like, puts a hand to his head. He's like, he looks back up. He looks towards, like, how many people are still on the hill.
It's starting to, like, disperse, but you've noticed that a couple have already actually crossed over to the lands beyond and up to the light.
Okay.
You've been spending a lot of time with just one. Some have started wandering so far in either direction that you wouldn't be able to find them all.
It's just like, man, what am I even supposed to do here? He's going to, like, he just, like, belts out. At this point, he just kind of yells towards all of them at the same time, and he just kind of says, King Tolan, just come to me. Just get over here.
You're at the bottom of the hill.
And he's like, just come to me. He starts is walking up the hill as he calls. Wait, but first he calls. Does anyone start actually moving towards him?
I'm gonna say there are a few that look at you curiously and begin to move over.
He's like, oh, good. Then he looks back towards the wall. He's like, well, actually this way. He starts walking up the hill, and he's just like, come, just follow me.
Okay.
As he's calling out to them.
You start heading up the hill. You notice that some of them are still in the same spots, just confused, or you notice one of them is just looking up at the sky, and it looks like it's in a forever sunset almost. And there's a couple clouds, and he's like, wow, those clouds are cool. Wow.
That's my favorite personality. Are we picking and choosing? Are we making a character? Maybe I should just go grab the ones I like.
One of them is still rocking back and forth on the ground.
Still rocking back and forth.
And there's...
I'm ready to help him.
And there's another one that there's one that's following you. There's a couple that are following you at this point. You can't tell too much about them, as they just seem to just be straight up following.
Okay. Dusty will try to lead them up towards the light, and he just kind of gestures to go in towards it.
Okay. Some of them do go towards the light and enter in.
Again, he shakes his head as they're entering. He's like, "Who's this? What am I supposed to do?"
It's like herding cats.
It's like herding cats. Hopefully you're doing the right thing. Wait, I gotta test something. He's gonna. He like has this like jolt, this realization. He's like, wait. He's gonna go back down towards one of them. He'll go towards the shaking one. He's like, all right, I'm ready for this guy. He
Rocking back and forth.
he like walks. He's like out of sight, like sort of inside. He says, "King Dulith."
Yeah. What do you want?
I am here to help you.
No, you're not.
Oh? How do you figure?
You always come back.
Me?
What? No, not you. Sorry. It hurts so much.
Where?
Everywhere. They won't leave me alone.
Lusty like thinks for a second. It's just like eyes?
What'd you say?
Eyes?
And he goes, no, the elves.
I see. Yes. What kind of elves?
Drow. But not my people. These are backstabbers, traitors, refugees, but not the good kind.
Is that how you got here? The drow?
No, No.
Do you remember how you got here on the hillside?
I remember an explosion. I remember fury and anger and Azon. I was furious at him. And then something, I hit something, I knocked something, it burned.
He's not doing that. He just kind of like. You said Azon, right? I didn't mishear you.
Yes, my son.
Sorry.
It's just better to stay like this, stay together. That way no one can betray me, no one can stab me, no one can get there towards me. No one. Those darn dark elves.
Do you see me, King Azon?
Huh?
Can you see me?
I don't want to.
There's nothing to be afraid of. So look at me. I am not a dark elf.
He looks up at you and he goes, oh. I'm just gonna stay here. As this is happening, one kind of storms past you and he goes, I'm gonna kill him! I'm gonna kill that darn son! As he starts heading up the hill.
back to life, I suppose.
Jeez. That darn.
Dusty's gonna kind of like leave the guy on the ground. He's gonna stand up and he's gonna kind of like follow the angry guy. He's like, "Hey, let's not be too rash here. What's going on?"
I'm going to kill Azon once I find him and get my hands on him. He is done. He will
Why?
no longer be an heir. He will no longer be a darn artificer. Those are slime, putrid. Ugh.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I'm sorry. What did he do?
His machine blew me up.
She blew you up. I see.
Because darn artificers have to go poking their noses into things they don't understand. Nothing. Ugh, I just hate them. I hate them so much. His darn idol, Miles, or whatever the frick he is, he's dead too. I'm gonna kill him.
Oh yeah, don't do that one. Let's actually avoid that one.
As he's
Hey.
storming up the hill.
He's like, "Hey, let's talk about this for a second, just like real quick, if that's okay." I mean, hasn't Azon ever made something that was like helpful at all?
No, because he shouldn't, because he's of royal blood. But no, I'm cutting him off. He's not. I don't care. He's common. I hate him.
Okay, all right. I don't know if I can do anything to really convince you otherwise. What if I? I mean, magic's. I mean, you okay with magic, just in general? Is this just like just an artificer thing? Just.
As he's like still walking up the hill, he's almost on top. He's like, I don't care about magic. It's artificery that's dumb and it doesn't work. It's for the poor people to do.
Okay. He's just kind of like stops and just kind of like lets him go into the light as he like walks up. He's just like, hopefully that doesn't backfire. Okay. Dusty's gonna now look back down and see like how many people are still around.
You notice that it's dispersed quite a bit. You just see you just see two left. The one that's staring at the clouds going, wow. And then the other one that's like curled up, still rocking.
Okay. The crazy ones. Let's go take care of the crazy ones. Okay. Let's try the one I haven't tried. Let's try that one. The Clouds Man.
Yeah.
The endless sunset.
He's going,
Dusty's
wow.
just like, yeah.
It's so pretty.
Dusty like sits down.
At least that's what my wife would say.
Looks up. Is Dusty able to see what like?
You notice that there are some
clouds
clouds drifting around,
Oh, okay.
and he says, oh, this was one of my wife's favorite things to do. Ah,
Cloud gazing.
I love her. She's so pretty, so beautiful, gorgeous.
Oh. That's wonderful. Dusty's like, it's just like, this is harder than the other guy.
Oh. Have you ever been in love?
Dusty like cocks his head. He's like, I don't think so. I don't know. I never really thought about it.
Oh, well, you're missing out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's amazing. Being married is so good.
I've heard it's good for mental health, yes.
Oh, yeah. I used to be just a crackpot, and then...
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
really? Yeah. So, would you like to be alive again? You can do stuff like this, but like in the living.
Will I get to see my wife?
Oh man, Dusty's very adverse to lying. He's just like, you may see her there. You're more likely to see her there than over here.
Yeah, that'd be great. I miss her.
I agree, that would be great if you did that.
Okay, and he starts walking up the hill.
Okay. Alright, one left. Dusty, like, stands up, he turns around. He's just like, hey, I'm back. You didn't see any drow, did you?
He goes, Drow, where? And then he stands up and he starts booking it to the bottom of the hill.
Oh, no, come back. Dusty, like, he starts running. He's like, oh, no, there's, the drow are down here. The drow are down here.
Yeah, that's where I gotta go. If they're not down there, I gotta go.
No, because, like, down, no, you gotta go up there. No, up there. Hold on. He's like, desperately, like, running next to him. He's like, he like reaches out. He tries to grab him, just literally anything to try and stop him.
And it feels again like water, where it's like there's something there, but it's just not quite. And he runs straight through the archway.
He just like.
And you, as he passes through, he fades off, and you do not see him anymore.
He like stops. He's like. Okay, we lost one.
we lost a couple.
He turns around. He's like, there's no more King Tomlin. So he just kind of like walks up. Did you notice them like walking around the edges? Or when they were leaving, did they only go up or down?
They kind of dispersed, so some of them went like in those directions. You do see some far off in the distance on either end, just like meandering. But you do hear Ray's voice in your mind, saying, Dusty, you need to return.
Okay. I will. Dusty will like start walking toward the top of the hillside. That's where the living people go. So he's gonna go towards the living people.
Mm-hmm.
He starts walking up. I'm actually gonna have another higher low check.
Okay.
As he starts walking up, and then he pauses for a second.
Let's go low.
Okay.
Are you curious? Are you going to look beyond for yourself?
Dustin's curiosity does get vested. He stops. He looks back. In his mind, he thinks to himself, this might be my only chance to see. And he like turns back and like he starts at sort of a leisurely pace, but then he like sort of like gives a little bit of a jog. He's like, she sounded like this is pretty time important, but this is also important. He walks back down towards the bottom of the hill, and he's going to go up towards the mist, and he's going to look into it
Through the archway and see if...
Yeah.
As you begin to actually like look for yourself, kind of a thing, rather than looking for Tolith, you do notice two figures in the fog as they step forward, and you don't recognize either of them, actually. There seems to be a beautiful woman who's in her I'd say like early 20s, with this dark brown hair and green eyes, like yours. And you see someone else with her, a young boy who looks to be about 8 years old. Dark brown hair as well, big messy mop on his head, basically. Who just looks the spitting image of Miles, of what you would imagine Miles looking like as a young boy. And he kind of waves at you, and
Dusty waves.
and the woman looking at you says, "I don't think it's your time yet."
I just had to see. And he looks down towards the boy specifically. And he kind of like kneels down a little bit to sort of match his gaze.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "No, I'm very glad to see you."
I'm glad to see you too.
Anything you want me to tell him, Dad?
Well, tell him his buddy's waiting for him.
Let's see, like, says, "I'll let him know."
And we'll be waiting for you too. You can be sure of that.
Of course. Thank you for waiting. And Dusty like stands up again, and he like turns, but then he like stops. He like catches his foot, and he pivots around again towards the woman, and he says, "Miles loves you both very much. He cares for you quite a bit. I just wanted to let you know that he still has you in his minds, even after these years."
Thank you. Could you send him a message for me?
Anything.
Could you tell him that I said, until the end?
Dusty nods.
He'll know.
Okay. Thank you for being there with him for as long as you were. Then Dusty, he like bows currently and then turns, and he begins towards the top of the hill again.
Okay.
And this time he is like full on running. He's like, okay, maybe I should be fast about this.
Okay. And you head up to the top of the hill. Now, for you guys, Nuri, Douse, and Amaris, as you guys have been in this very cold room, you notice at one point as Ray is casting this spell, she turns to you with her eyes closed, and she says to you all, she says, "It's for some reason this is taking longer than it should. Just hang in there. I'm gonna try and get Dusty out." Another couple minutes pass by, and then after a moment, Dusty, you come back to opening your eyes in your metal body. Back. You are back.
He lurches backwards, like the stool underneath him jumbles, and all of a sudden he like he like his body like sets back into his chair and he's like shaking a little bit, and he like collects himself a little bit. He like has to collect himself for a second. It's like, oh,
Dusty, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I forgot what a tired body felt like. Oh. He like shakes his hand. He's just like, I'm okay. I'm okay. A little heads up would have been nice though about that whole process. It's
Ray
more complicated than I thought it would be.
Ray looks like she's wiping like sweat from her brow, as she cannot cast anymore until, if I look at this, yeah, so she cannot cast spells again until she finishes a long rest, and she is disadvantaged on all attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws.
Wait, did she do the other spell already?
Yeah.
Or is this just from the first one?
No, sorry. This is from her finishing up the Restore Soul spell.
Okay. I'm gonna just, because I was given a lollipop to give to Douse, but Douse came down with the lollipop, so I'm gonna give her the lollipop.
So Ray will happily be sucking on the lollipop.
Dusty, he like looks up. He's like, "But did it work?"
You guys?
Is he back?
I'm gonna go over to the king and check for a pulse.
Yeah, you guys head over and you just hear a groan. You still see on the side of his face these like spider web like veins, black veins all around and on the back of his hands and everything. And you see him look up.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he is awake. 1 second. I needed to pull and look at one thing. Okay, I got it. You see, he groans as he kind of like turns over. He gets brought back with 5 levels of exhaustion. And he kind of like...
Perfect time for an all-night party! Yeah, he's dead! Oh, he's dead!
Oh, no.
And he turns to you and he looks at you and Nuri, and he goes, Zadia?
What? Dusty like calls out.
He's like, where's Zadia? Where is... Sorry, let me get to his voice.
Is Zadia the queen's name? I don't know if I've ever heard the queen's name.
You can assume, but you don't know. And then he kind of like looks over and then he looks at you, Nuri, and he goes, Anastriana.
Oh no.
Dusty kind of like scooches his stool out from under him and like hobbles over a little bit, trying to keep his balance. He's gonna I'm gonna just make a light constitution saving throw for him. Yeah, he's fine. He like walks up and he like puts his hand on the edges of the bathtub and he says, King Tola, are you okay? Are you able to see us?
He almost like acts, it's almost as if he didn't even hear you, as he's kind of like looking around and he's like looking down at himself and he looks over at Nuri again and he goes, Anastriana. Anastriana.
She's just gonna nod and she's gonna be like, "Yes, come on, Your Majesty. Let's get you to bed."
Anna.
Gonna get you to bed. And she's gonna start pulling him out of the tub.
You pull him out of the tub and he's very wobbly, very shaky, like should not be walking around.
I don't think he can walk at 5 levels.
Yeah, I don't think he can. He's yeah, you guys, with the help of Dusty, I'm going to say you guys can get him out. But he's just like leaning on Dusty at this point. Like he's not even holding up his own weight.
He's trying. He's like,
Now I'm gonna take the weight of the king onto myself, like one arm, and like holding him like that way. And be like, Douse, can you help me?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Douse is going to be right next to you. He's like, come on, let's go. And he's going to cast Healing Word on him as well, just to kind of give him a little bit more.
You cast Healing Word and he cries out in pain.
No.
And he goes, ah! And
That was supposed to help.
No healing. We learned this already. No healing.
And you see the black spiderweb veins just like more appear on his skin. And
Do I need to roll?
roll how many healing points you gave him.
yeah, how much did you heal?
How many did you
You
Kill the
him.
king again. He has like
It's
one hit point.
fine. He has like 1 hit point or something. He like goes down.
Hold on, I need to find Healing Word to see what I'm rolling again. It's D4 plus spellcasting modifiers. It's not gonna be much. 2, I think it's like 1. See, that's gonna be my wisdom. I have to remember which spells I'm using have which modifier, whether they're cleric or warlock. Yeah, that's gonna be 4.
4. Okay, 4. 4
Yay.
healing.
I have spared the dying.
Yeah, he kneels over on the ground.
Did he just die? Or is he just on the ground in pain?
He is unconscious.
Is he bleeding out, like kind, or just unconscious?
Unconscious.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was good. I am so sorry, I forgot.
No healing. She just like looks at everyone. She's like, no healing.
Right.
Ray kind of looks confused, and she's like, the spell should have healed things unless this was, this is something different.
I think it's something different.
Yeah, we ran into this before. I don't think we've figured out what's causing it, but healing hurts.
Dusty like leans into the bathtub behind him and just kind of like stumbles onto the ground. And he says, "I'll tell you everything I saw, if that helps."
What happened?
A lot. So, first of all, I found him on the hillside, but it's as though he was split apart in some way. Different minds entirely. Each were focused on some different activity. I counted 30, but there were so many. I don't even know if I was right. But they all were acting differently. I tried to get as many as I could to go to the light at the top of the hillside, but I couldn't get them all there. Some still, on their own will, turned towards the archway and went through. Either way, I did my best. But it looked, as Nuri and Amaris described the hillside to me, it didn't seem to be different. And they didn't seem to have any particular fear or perpetration aside from one particular one, but each of them had some different emotion. They all seemed to represent different parts of King Tullus' personality. I don't know what that could mean.
Oh. Well, that's not normal. But Nuri's gonna pull out her notebook and she's writing all that down.
Don't drop the man.
He's already on the ground.
Oh,
That's what
we were
Emily
holding
said.
him, so I thought we still had him, but
Oh, he just like leaned forwards? Okay. Well, if he just
I don't
like
know.
went limp and like was leaning forwards, then she would have taken out her notebook, but her magic words are like wrapped around her pen and are like messily writing in her book.
Okay.
Usually it's just one spirit at a time. It's not broken up like that. From what I recall, I mean, it was the hillside, as far as I could tell. But I don't know. It could have to do with me not being successful in getting all of them to the top of the hill. I don't know. Any thoughts, Ray? That this, I know it's your first time casting the spell.
I'm not quite sure. It should have healed him right up, but it's not working. So, with what you described, it could be that maybe parts of him have lost, but I can't help but feel like this. The thing that's wrong with him is these spiderweb veins. I don't understand them. Maybe it could be tied to how he died, or got into the coma.
It could be. Speaking of that, I was able to gather some information on how exactly that happened. I was under the preconception that he was killed by a drow, but it does not seem to be the case. I talked to at least two separate versions of him that expressed one expressing frustration, the other sort of a worry, fear. Actually split up. That might be a bad thing. But either way, he was. I'll cut to the chase. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm not going to
It's
explain.
okay.
things.
You're doing great, Dusty. You're doing great.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. So, it seems that King Tullus died in a accident. He wasn't supposed to die. He was furious. His son, Aeson, he was working on some kind of project and it went wrong. It malfunctioned and it ended up killing him. Some kind of burning, perhaps chemically or even fire. It's like the explosion, quite the project. But I don't think it was purposeful. I don't think. But King Tullus seemed to hold a grudge for this, and the one that held a grudge went into the light. So those parts of his personality are the ones that survived, then he may still hold a grudge. And also against Miles. But just will be his views.
He has a grudge against Miles because of his views?
No, Muse. He was. Aeson was curious about his projects. He was an inspiration to him, and Tolith expressed that he wanted to take that away. But again, this was just part of his personality. There's lots of other parts of him. A pretty good idea. He's... Dusty, like, pauses for a second. And he actually, like, looks up towards Nuri when he says this. He says, he is conflicted about you. Yes. A
About
big
me?
part of you.
He knows about me?
Yes. No, he doesn't know who you are. And then he, like, stops, and he, like, I'll explain later. I'm tired. And he tilts his head over towards Ray. He's just like, I'm tired.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to to stay here, but you know, or you can go back to, you know, a tavern or an inn or.
Yes, we should find some place so we can rest up with some time.
I guess
We have a boat.
we could go back.
I felt it very comfortable over there.
But yeah, we could go back.
I mean, we don't have to. If we need a place that's free.
Yeah, we tried to stay there for a bit.
You've also got the Winter King unconscious.
Yep.
She shows up in a boat.
Dusty, can you poke Amaris, see if she's awake yet from when she passed out?
She did pass out canonically. She is canonically passed out on the ground.
She
Dusty
did pass out at the end of last session.
Hobbles,
Because of
I completely forgot about that.
the frogs.
I mean, it makes sense. She's been quiet this whole time too, so she's definitely unconscious.
She's definitely unconscious. Dusty like hobbles over, and he just grabs her shoulder a little bit, shakes her very lightly. He's sick and is not a very strong person.
Oh, poor Dusty.
Amaris just like sits up suddenly and she's like, frogs!
Hey, you may be headed out. We got King Tolith.
Oh no, Dusty's accent box is losing.
Yeah.
You okay, Amaris?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good. Can you grab the cloak that was your pillow and put it on the king, please?
She like picks up the cloak and is like, the king. Oh, he's awake.
Oh,
He's unconscious right now.
He's out.
Oh.
Douse is gonna kind of just sheepishly look down at that, like.
He's like, hee.
So she's gonna move over and like put the cloak over the king.
Okay. Well, Ray, we'll be back in a day or so. Thank you for all your help.
All right. Yeah. I'll definitely be getting some rest after this, but hope to see you soon.
Yep.
Hey.
Douse, do you want to grab his feet or his shoulders? Gotta carry him up the stairs.
Right. How heavy is this guy?
He's an elf, so I would say maybe. How heavy would an adult male elf be?
200 pounds.
200 pounds.
I'll take his torso. Douse was debating whether trying to do it himself.
Shot.
What's your strength?
My strength? I know it's not my highest stat.
I'm just curious.
It's a 13.
13? Okay, mine's a 12. We can do it.
Yeah.
I believe in you guys.
What? Dude, oh, I lost him!
There goes his torso.
Oh no!
1d6 fall damage. He's bleeding out.
Spare the dying!
It gets worse. He fails one of his saves.
You know what? Canon.
Does spare the dying work?
Yeah.
Okay. After that happens, she's gonna be like, I'll take the torso, you take the legs.
Right.
She'll carry it.
Scary stuff. Dusty, as they're walking, he recounts, actually, we probably shouldn't go to this ship because he doesn't have a positive opinion of mines.
He wouldn't be able to do anything anyways.
Surely that's fair.
Plus, Thea might try to kill him while he's there, but it's a quick getaway if any drow show up, so...
She did tell us that she would be happy if she saw him.
It's okay, he's unconscious. He's still in the coma. Shh. He's like,
I'll stay quiet.
His opinion doesn't matter. Canonically, how many days has it been since we left?
To go into the Winter Court?
Yeah,
It's been 1 day.
1 day.
So you guys went there at night, and then it's been a full day because it's the next night. So you've got a whole day of rest and relaxation if you guys want to. Because supposedly on the following day, Esmond is supposedly arriving with Ami.
Okay.
Supposedly. I'm the dungeon master. I can't say.
And then we can do this whole episode again. But with Ami.
We should take the king back to the ship now.
Okay, you guys head
Sounds
out.
good.
You guys head back to the ship. Okay. You bring him up onto the ship. And as you guys are entering onto the ship, Miles actually comes by and he goes, I've made some upgrades to the ship.
Oh.
Wonderful. Can you
I'm
grab
glad.
right here real quick? I'm he slipping.
He goes over and helps. Let me put you guys on the ship.
Sorry. Having perpetually wet hands kind of does that.
now. Oh my gosh.
Waste bits.
That's amazing.
Wet hands.
He's a water genasi.
Like the Minecraft song.
What?
That's a good one. That's a good
No,
song.
I heard that one.
Yeah, you look it up sometime. Wet Hands Minecraft. That's for the audience too. To look up sometime. It's a good one. You'll recognize it. You'll recognize
That does not have to be canon.
No,
Is
it's okay. Okay, so you see Thea seems to like be brooding over on one side, you know, because people do that. And
She's our angsty member of the party.
yeah, she's just looking over the edge. She's not even gonna help. She like looks over and she's like,
Well, Nuri would, with people's help, take him to a bed.
okay,
Preferably one closed off. This one? Is this room taken?
no,
Cool.
Okay, is this the 3 different floors of the ship?
yeah. So basically, if you guys would like to explore, you can. So can you guys all see the farthest left one?
Mm-hmm.
I can see the whole map.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. I thought I put walls on it. I did put walls.
Dang it, I should have stayed quiet.
Well, that's okay. You guys can see the whole map, so you can see all 3 levels?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So this is the escape plan, as Miles likes to call it. It is a giant boat with 3 levels. You've got the first level over here on the far left that has like the top level of everything. The bottom level here or not the bottom, the mid level that has a lot of like beds, bedrooms and stuff like that. And then the stairs over here behind the other stairs actually lead down to the bottom level that has a lot of storage, a couple more bedrooms, some tabled rooms, storage rooms. Yeah.
Nice. Well, Nuri would take the king into the one over here.
Mm-hmm.
And get him all tucked into bed, and she'll stay with him throughout the night.
Okay. Are you also going to sleep?
She would do her meditative trance for 4 hours, because that's all she actually needs as an elf, so she wouldn't fully be asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing that on purpose because of Thea.
Yeah.
So, because she often chooses to just, like, sleep. But
Yeah.
she's doing her trance.
Okay. Well, it is like bedtime, so what else is everyone doing? Everybody resting?
Yeah.
I mean, Douse would probably, if he hasn't already, explore a bit of the ship,
Yeah.
reminiscing of any times he'd seen other fishers and such.
Mm-hmm. Finding all the nets and everything.
He definitely sleeps in a hammock.
There we go.
Just be like the
Just
below deck hammocks that you usually see sailors in.
Mm-hmm. So you can pick any one of these bedrooms if you want, and you can say that it's a hammock instead of a bed. Yeah. Okay. Amaris, Dusty.
Amaris is going to bed. It's been a long day of frightening frogs.
It has been a long day fighting frogs.
Wait, I thought you had that curse removed.
It's still in the back of her.
Yeah, it was
That
bothering
doesn't
her all
mean-
day.
That doesn't mean I didn't experience it.
The trauma is there. The frogs left a permanent frog-shaped impression.
Yeah. Dusty, what are you doing?
Dusty is going to go talk to Miles.
Okay.
He's going to. I assume that this sort of happens as they're getting on the boat, and Dusty's like, "Oh," like he pulls him aside. He's like, "I should probably talk to you."
Yeah. What's on your mind?
Pulls him aside. He's like limping along the way a little bit. Says, "Yeah. So, I just wanted to say, so we context. Okay.
Does
So-
he does he still call you buddy, or did he?
He said he started calling him Dusty.
Okay. He says, Dusty, you don't have to talk right now. If you want to go rest, I can go turn off the circuits if you want, or you can just rest.
Well, I should tell you now. It's just good to give you some time to process. So, we worked to bring back King Tolith. In part of the process, we went, and I ended up finding myself on the hillside. I had to find pieces of King Tolith. It was this whole fetch quest. It was quite the thing, but it was good. Anyway, sorry. Point being, near the tail end of it, I decided to go down towards the archway. You are familiar with the hillside, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I went down towards the archway, which is usually where people are greeted by their loved ones before they pass on. And I was greeted by a few people, two people. A tall, a beautiful woman with brown hair and green eyes, and a young boy about the age of 8. Brown hair, who's a striking image of you. You look just like you. Well, as a kid, anyways.
Miles is very somber as you continue.
I spoke with them, and they confirmed that they are who I thought they were, and they are who you think they are. But they spoke to me, and I have a couple messages from them for you that they asked me to share. The boy says hi. He says that your buddy says hi. And the woman told me to deliver the message until the end. She said you would get it.
You actually see Miles's eyes like shimmering with unshed tears. And he kind of clears his throat a little bit, and he pats you on the shoulder, and he goes, "Thank you. I'm gonna, if it's all right with you, I'd like to step away for a bit."
Time to process. Few times.
He says, "Thank you, buddy." And he's going to walk down into the bedroom down here. And you won't see him for the next little bit.
Dusty just relaxes his shoulders a bit, and he turns and head towards the inside of the ship where he can rest.
Yeah. Yeah, just pick a bedroom, any bedroom you want. Okay. And everybody, this is the start of our long rest. Okay, yay. He eventually does come and talks to Miles in the night. Okay. Morning dawns, everybody. Hello. Morning.
Yay!
Yay. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to say, like, down on the bottom part of the ship, there's this one room over here. That's like the kitchen. The in-boat kitchen.
Oh yeah, Douse would be there bright and early making dinner or breakfast for everybody.
Okay, it's over on this boat.
Hey, yeah, yeah.
Can you not make it through?
No, I can't.
That's, you know what? You guys can already see everything, right? I might as well just delete all these walls.
Or just give us one that we can use to pass through.
I agree. Boundaries are useless. Delete them all.
I'll keep all the doors where they are, so you guys know where the doors are. What?
Time to go see what's left of my grocery list.
Yeah. It's basic. This is just basically the map. Okay, sorry, I'm just.
I don't think I have anything left. I have an apple pie.
Douse with no food to cook? Oh no!
This is not a
He
good.
was too exhausted to go back and purchase his eggs and everything to make his morning breakfast.
So sad. Poor Douse. Okay. Alrighty.
He'll scrounge around, see if there's any food inside here that he could cook.
You notice that there are a few supplies. He wasn't really able to like stock it up too much. There's 64 potatoes. There are 64 potatoes.
Yep. He's gonna be he's heard of this thing called mashed potatoes. So he's gonna take a bunch of potatoes, mind you, they're raw currently, and he's just gonna put them in a bowl and start punching.
Okay, there we go. Mashed potatoes.
And they're potatoes.
There we go. There are also like salt and seasonings. Well, okay, there's salt.
He'll use some of that.
Yeah. There's salt on the boat. 64 potatoes. Sorry, the 64 potatoes is a reference between me and Sierra. A little inside joke. That's why I was like, 64 potatoes.
I thought that was your sort of way of make something with the potatoes. Use those.
No, it was a joke between me and Sierra. The joke is literally just 64 potatoes. But anyways, so basically, also thank you guys for your comments over here. I just so I don't have to respond to everyone. But yes, otherwise, what else is in there? There's potatoes, salt, and yeah, I think that's. Oh, let's say there's 2 big bags of rice.
Okay. So he'll start off by, punching the potatoes, trying to get them as mashed as possible. Then he'll throw them in a pot with rice and start stirring.
Get some mashed rice potatoes.
He's trying. He doesn't know how to cook.
You're learning, though.
I know. This is his first attempt at experimentation without following a recipe.
There we go. So you end up making this mashed rice potato. Are you throwing it on a skillet or something?
I imagined he threw it in a pot because he knows that rice needs to be cooked in a pot or something like that.
Okay. So you cook the rice, and then
So
you combine it with the potatoes.
Yep.
So you make a slaw, basically. A mush.
I can imagine exactly how this would taste.
I know, honestly, same here. I was also thinking about how this would taste.
Y'all hungry, right?
A little bit. So you come out to the rest of the group with your dish in a bowl for everybody to eat. There's bowls and plates and silverware on the boat.
All right. Now he's not going to be too proud of it. He's like, with what I got, guys, I tried making mashed potatoes. I've heard of it, no idea how to make it, but give me your thoughts. Honest opinions, please. And then he like looks at Dusty. He's like, "Can you taste?" Like,
Can he taste? So I'm gonna put everybody down on this bottom level, unless who all is there?
Yeah, Dusty will be there. Dusty actually does nod. He says, "Yeah." Yeah, I can
Okay.
taste.
And Amaris is there.
What's the king's situation like? Is he still sleeping?
Yes.
She would set up
Houdini.
a tiny hut. Oh, wait, no, she can't leave the tiny hut set up. She would come down, grab some food, and then she'd immediately go back up to the king's bedroom.
Okay.
there is salt on it, so there is a little bit of flavor, but and seasonings. But
Miles does come down, not with Thea. Thea's down there pretty quick. She just scarfs it down. Miles also scarfs it down because he hasn't had good food in a little while, so...
Douse would break out his apple pie, like, this is something better as well, but...
Breakfast! Wow!
Listen, pie is just wheat, eggs, and like water. That's healthy.
It's fruit. There's apple pie in it. It's apples.
Yeah, they're apples. Apple pie. That's apple fruit. Good for you.
Okay. So you guys are all sharing this meal down there. Miles...
Real quick.
Yeah, Amaris?
Amaris just like looks at it. He's like, how'd you manage to make mashed potatoes without boiling them?
You boiled it?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Stick them in a stew. I was just gonna say
I'm
that.
not Samwise flipping Ganji.
I...
Here, one day I'll show you how to
yes.
make them.
Thank you. I've just heard of this dish. I thought it would be easy to make.
It's a good start.
Dusty
I'm just
will
really
try.
curious how you managed to do this without boiling them.
He has a really
He's got-
strong punch.
He's got like some like potato skin on his knuckles still.
Thea just looks at that and she just nods and she goes, respect.
Don't worry, I washed them first.
The potatoes are your hands.
Both.
Dusty just kind of like puts it in his mouth. He's like, it's a little starchy, but they're potatoes. Where you go?
Dusty.
There's rice grains in there, guys, just so you're aware.
Yeah, Miles
Like-
is like, it's food and it will fill us with energy.
Yeah, it will.
I'll go shopping later today when Nuri's meeting up with her hubby. I'm blanking on his name.
Wait, what?
Esmond. Well, Nuri's meeting with Esmond. I'll go shopping and get us some actual.
Well,
decent
technically
breakfast.
that isn't going to be today.
Oh, I thought that was today.
Yeah, you guys have a full day before he's expected.
Full day. What are we gonna do with ourselves?
Well, I'll go shopping later today.
Yeah, there you go. Stock up the boat.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of stocking up the boat, does the boat's invisibility wear off? Is that how that works?
We're gonna say for right now it hasn't. Yeah. Yeah, Miles says that's one of the upgrades. Yeah.
Longer invisibility.
Longer invisibility. It does require a spell slot, but it will last. It requires your highest level spell slot. And, well, I guess depending on the spell slot level, it will last for X amount of hours. We'll say that. So if you spend a level 1 spell slot, it will last for like 1 minute. If you spend a level 2 spell slot, it will last for an hour. If you spend a level 3, it will last for 4 hours. If you spend a level 4, I hope someone's writing this down because I'm not going to remember.
I'm emotionally writing this down. I'm writing down earlier.
Dane today. Yeah, so level 1 equals 1 minute. Level 2 equals 1 hour. 3 equals 4 hours. 4 equals, I'm going to say 8 hours. We're just going to establish that now. 5, let's say a 5th level spell is going to be 12 hours. A 6th level is going to be 24 hours. 7th is going to be 32 hours. 8 is going to be 3 days. 9th is going to be a week. There.
Okay, so it was 10 minutes, or was it 1, or how many minutes for the one spell?
Level 1 is
minute.
1 minute.
Level
Yeah,
2 is
1 minute.
30, or is it 10?
1 minute, then an hour.
2
then
was
3.
a 1 hour, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets into hours. So it's 1 hour, 3 hours, 8
3
hours,
hours is 4
12
hours.
hours, then 24, then 32, 3 days, and then a week.
So 3 is 3 hours.
3
then
is
the last-
4 hours.
Oh,
4
level-
is 8 hours.
Okay, that was the last one I needed was 4.
Do you guys see on my camera?
Yep.
Yes. Aha. Canon, everybody. Canon. This is important. Canon information. Canon knowledge.
Okay. It's canon now. Aye. Alrighty. So, as you guys are preparing to head out for the day and do whatever tasks that you're hoping to do, Nuri, you're in the bedroom with the king.
Yep.
Watching him, making sure he isn't gonna like kneel over
Yep.
and die or anything. And he does wake up.
So I thought you were about to say he does die.
He dies.
Oh,
He just dies.
Supposed to heal him.
okay, so he does wake up. Okay.
He does wake up. And he kind of like looks really like delirious. And he kind of like holds his head where it was bonked yesterday.
She's gonna pull out some rations, and she's gonna start breaking some of it up and try and get him to eat it.
And he just kind of like looks really dazed and confused. Like, how are you going about doing this? Like, you break it all up.
So she'll break off some of, I don't know what's in it, bread, meat,
Like,
I don't know.
let's say jerky or something.
It's
Jerky.
basically mush, is what Douse gave you.
What I ate that. So he's getting rations. Whoops. She'll tear off a piece and be like, "Your Majesty, you should eat some food." She's gonna stick the food into his mouth. Just stick it in.
You managed to just like stick it in as he's just like kind of looking around slightly, like mouth slightly agape. You like put it in, and He just like still has his mouth kind of like open as he's just like
She'll
looking around.
close his mouth.
And
Like the top of his head would just be like.
and he starts to chew. And he does like chew it and swallow it. And he looks over at you and he goes, Anastriana.
Yes, Your Majesty. Have another bite.
Anna.
I'll stick some more food in his mouth.
He eats it.
The Anna makes it. It's a great syllable for opening someone's mouth.
Anna. Yeah, it's like
Anastriana. Anna. Nom, nom. So he does finish off the ration after a little bit.
Success.
Success. He has eaten food. You do notice that his lips are dry and cracked. So he probably needs some water. If you have like a water skin, you kind of actually have to help him drink it.
I have a water skin. Yes.
Why do we need that? We've got Douse.
Yeah, that's why Douse waved.
He's the water boy.
The water boy.
She gets it refilled from him, but she carries her own.
Yeah, that's smart. So you are able to get him water, but you do have to be like pouring it for him as he's just kind of like very I can't describe it very well. He just looks like he's not all there. And it's very difficult for him to do things for himself. Like you have to like prop up some pillows just to get him to sit up. Like and he just looks at you and he goes, Anna. Oh. Anastriana. And he keeps saying Anastriana.
She'll just keep going. No, she'll just nod and be like, "Yes, Your Majesty. You should take a little nap now." Like, anytime he's just Anastriana, she's just like, "Yes, Your Majesty. Let's do this for you now." she's not trying to argue or anything about it.
Okay. Also, Silver Dusk saying, I think it's time to put him in a retirement home. Yeah, he's old.
Poor guy.
He's
She'll
broken.
get some, once he's kind of like settled, she'll go and get some cloths and get Douse to get them all wet with his thing, refill her canteen thing. And then she'd go back. She'd just be like, Douse, I need these to be wet, please. Water it.
Water it.
Thank you.
You just hear way in the back of your mind, Douse, as she's like, oh, so you've become the water boy now. Douse, you're on mute. Oh, so
Douse
you're
is
the
like,
water boy now.
I mean, I am a Genasi water.
Yes.
He's not making the connection of water boy. Because they don't have those under the sea. Water's everywhere.
Oh my.
After she's gotten all the cloths and stuff, she'll go back to the king, and she's essentially going to just be like giving him sort of a sponge bath of essentially just like she's going to wipe his hands, wipe his forehead, check if there's a fever or anything. Or like
all of his like physical wounds seem to have been healed from the spell.
Nice.
So he doesn't have any like physical wounds. He still has the spidery black web veins. He doesn't seem to have a fever or anything.
Good.
So something seems to be wrong. As you kind of finish kind of like cleaning him up, and he looks at you and he goes, Anna. My little girl.
Yes, Your Majesty. I think it's time you get some sleep.
You help him like go down to like rest. But as you kind of are like settling him down, and he's just kind of like looking off into the distance, you start to like get up to leave as you pull the covers over him. And he puts his hand on your wrist. And he looks up at you. And suddenly his grip tightens.
Okay.
And he's like holding on to you. And he goes, death, death, death is coming. Everywhere, dark. It's broken. It's breaking. Everything's being destroyed. Lots of anger.
Inside of you or somewhere else?
Anger. Discourse. It's all going to die. And then suddenly his grip loosens and he seems to be like sweating and perspirating a little bit. And he looks up at you again and he goes, Anastriana, I thought you were dead. Good thing it was all a dream. And he goes to sleep.
She'll stay in the room with him. Like once she like pats his hand on her wrist until he falls asleep and like he just lets go when he falls asleep.
Mm-hmm. His hand loosens.
So once he's asleep, then she'll just kind of sit on the ground next to him, and she's gonna stay there pretty much the entire day. But the one thing she will do is cast sending to Azon again.
Mm-hmm.
Azon, you okay? No answer last night. Tolith alive. Talking a little weird. Please respond. Little worried about you. La da 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 da.
For sending, you have to verbally like speak out loud.
Yeah.
This is good. As you say that, it gets sent to Azon. You feel like it's sent. There is silence for a while. And after several minutes, you feel the connection just fades off.
She's gonna cast another sending. Azon, if you're in danger, Azon, if you are in danger, cough twice. Add another cough if the drow have you. Please respond. I'm getting really worried. I think that was 25.
So, silence again. And as you feel the connection begin to dissipate, you feel that it has sent to him. And at the very end of like 3 minutes at this point of just silence, you just hear, and that's it. and then the connection fades.
Okay, one cough. I told him to cough twice if he was in danger, and cough another time if the drow had him. So he just did one cough, so I could assume the drow have him.
That wasn't
He's
enough.
not in danger.
Was it an option?
That wasn't an option.
I don't. Sends a third message. That's not an option.
It's something else.
Well, it was cough twice if in danger, cough another time if the drow have him. So if it was only one cough, that could imply the drow have him. If he was okay, he would talk.
Unless he's ignoring you because you brought his dad back.
There's no reason to ignore him. To ignore me.
Well, he wasn't responding even before he knew that his dad was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The previous night, we reached out to him. We even used the walkie-talkie.
We did, like he asked.
We did. Oh yeah. We also told him about Thea being in town though.
Mm-hmm.
Could be hiding, I guess, but I mean, he would tell us. He would talk to us. Like, we're not.
Well, she'll spend
Theoretic-
the rest of the time worrying about Azon while sitting next to the unconscious king and helping him whenever he wakes up.
Okay,
That's what she does all day.
you may do so. All right, and Douse, you can go pick up whatever you want for groceries.
I shall make a list. So first he goes for a morning swim.
Shopping trip!
Yes, a morning swim. Is anyone joining you?
Challenges. If anyone joins him, he challenges them to a breath holding contest.
Okay, that is unfair.
Dusty will beat you. He doesn't need air.
Cannon. Cannon.
Because Douse can breathe underwater, so it doesn't matter.
We'll both
You
blast
killed Emily
forever.
with that one.
Yeah, you did. That made me laugh so hard I started choking on my own saliva.
Dies. It's okay. We all do that sometime.
Alrighty. So after a nice relaxing day, nothing seems to be particularly crazy. If you guys are, so Dusty, Amaris, and Douse, as you guys are kind of going along with each other throughout the town, you guys went for a swim. Things are kind of chill for the most part. As you guys are kind of walking through the town, you notice this man who looks to be selling bear traps at this little stall, and he's talking. It's a human man, and he seems to be talking to two gnomes at his booth, and they seem to be in this really big argument, just shouting at each other, going back and forth on deals, just extremely angry with each other. And you notice at one point, one of them actually ends up stomping on the man, on one of the gnomes stomps on the man's foot, and he just starts shouting at them even louder, and then they dart off, just yelling at him as they're walking off. Basically, you notice trying to think of other things you notice. You notice that there is a woman who seems to be in the shadows of an alleyway. And she's watching the people go along. She looks very defeated, very, very hungry, and she's holding out a little tankard and you notice that a man walks, or not a man, you notice that an Aarakocra actually walks by and spits into the cup as he walks and goes. There's several different instances of things that you see of just this town kind of just being an awful town. Let's see. You see a tabaxi. I was about to say Khajiit.
Wow.
You see a tabaxi walking along the road, and you notice that they trip over a wire that these two half-orc boys have pulled a string and knocked him over, and then they ran scampering away. These are just things that you notice, like, as you go walking around this town. You notice people doing, like, handing each other money in, like, alleyways, trying to be shady, you know. You see all these, like, horrible things in this town as you guys are going around.
Douse would give that poor lady his last piece of healing bunny jerky. That's the only thing. That's the only food he currently has on him left.
She will thankfully she will take it and thank you and start eating it, and then asks, "Coin?"
I don't have much, but sure. And you'll give her about, I guess, 18 silver.
Okay. All right, you give her 18 silver, and she goes, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And she looks at Amaris and Dusty, and she goes, "Coin?"
Let me see what I got. I give her 9 silver.
Okay.
I half feel like we're about to be ripped off here.
Dusty, are you giving her any?
Yeah, probably or something. So Dusty, he reaches into his pocket, like he reaches into where his pocket. Well, actually, he has pockets. He has pants on right now. He doesn't always wear pants on the outside of his bandages, but right now he is. He reaches into his pocket and like holds an empty hand in his pocket, and he brings it up to his mouth, and he like coughs, and like a coin falls out, and he like looks down, almost surprised. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he like rubs it off on his shirt, on his jacket to like clean it off. You see, because he doesn't have any coins in his hands, he has to get them out of his internal storage, and so coughing on it makes sense. So he like coughs and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then he like cleans it off on his shirt to show that he doesn't mean disrespect by coughing. And he like wipes it off, and he hands her a gold piece.
Okay, a gold piece.
All that effort for a gold piece. It's awesome.
Okay. She happily will take the money, and she goes, thank you, kind souls." And then she darts off further into the shadows.
All right. I sent my grocery list into the chat.
Okay.
That's what we have purchased.
Perfect. You have purchased all of that. I'm going to say it cost you 2 gold.
Is that for all the stuff I'm buying today?
Yeah, I'm just going to say you haggle, you get a good deal.
All right. Good, because I'm running low on gold. I have 3 gold and 1 platinum left, but 3 gold.
Alrighty. Okay, you guys finish your shopping trip. Douse, you have another stop to make.
Yep. Douse will return to that wonderful craftsman he had met a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And asked, "Hello, do you remember me, sir?"
Ah, yes. You're the first water genasi to come in here in a while.
Really?
Yes. We don't get too many.
Well, it's not really on the path we usually take for a pilgrimage, so I'm not surprised. But
Yeah, I've seen Earth genasi here. I've seen maybe one air in my lifetime.
that sounds about right. Has my order been finished?
It has, sir. It's over here. And he hands you a package that's wrapped up in, like, butcher paper and tied off in a string.
Thank you. Okay, this is me asking the DM. Did I prepay for this?
I think you did.
Because it sounds like something I would pay before he works on it, but
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure.
I'm pretty sure you did. We're gonna say you did. Because I'm
Okay.
fairly certain. Not 100%, but fairly certain.
Thank you. I will definitely recommend you if I run into any others who are looking for a wonderful craftsman.
Ah, please do.
I'll
I like the service.
inspect the goods to make sure they're up to
yeah.
snuff.
You inspect it, and it looks exactly how you were trying to have it look.
Perfect. Douse will give him the remaining of his gold as just a little tip. Like, it's wonderful. Perfect. Thank you so very much.
He accepts the gold and says, "You're welcome."
All right. I think that's Douse's day.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'm going to be
Dusty?
adding my grocery list to my inventory now.
Okay, perfect. Dusty, Amaris.
So they're Amaris is just wandering around with Douse. Not really much to do on the boat.
Okay.
Dusty has kind of he went with them for a little bit, but after a while he will head back earlier than the rest of them, just to kind of check in, make sure everything's okay with King Tolith and also with Nuri and stuff.
Yeah.
He also has to explain what he was talking about yesterday to her, but you
Okay.
know.
As you're like heading back, you come in on Nuri casting, just finishing up casting Identify on the king. Okay, so Nuri, you were telling me you cast Identify on him.
Yes.
So you learn basically the Identify that you're casting. You learn whatever effects are affecting him.
If there's any spells, I learn what they are.
Okay.
If they are affecting him.
So you learn that there are no like spells per se affecting him, but that there is like would Identify notify you. Hold on 1 second. I gotta ask.
Advanced identified knowledge.
Advanced. I mean, as written, probably not. There's not a spell that it wouldn't tell me.
It
You know.
depends, because if it's a spell cast by a human being,
Then it would tell me because it
that's a spell.
you learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting the creature. So if there's no spells
Yeah.
affecting the creature,
Yeah, if it is a non-magic, or sorry, some other magic immune object, is King Tolith an object?
No.
no, because later it specifically says creatures. So it's if it's a spell.
So it's not a spell.
Okay.
But you learn that there is some effect on him that has kind of like broken parts of his spirit. That's all you get really from your identify, but you know that there's no spells affecting him.
Okay, but something happened that affected his soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a spell, so dispel magic wouldn't affect him at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. As you finish that up, Dusty, you come in and you see Nuri.
Just kind of like walks in. He just says, "I currently see it." Like, walks over and just kind of sits down. He seems like it seems at a first glance that his legs are tired, but you realize his legs probably don't get tired like that, so he's just generally tired. He just kind of sits down.
Are you alright, Dusty?
Yep, still recovering a little bit, but doing all right. Just wanted to explain a little bit about what I said yesterday. At least I cocked out before I explained really. I mentioned King Tolith has like a perspective on your mother. I think I said you last night. Sorry. I hope that wasn't too confusing. I was very tired. Yeah. And he kind of like stops for a second and like looks up. He's just like double checking that he's still asleep. Or he continues. He's already said a little too much, but he double checks. It's like it's the important canonical information. So Dusty is going to check to see if King Tolith is awake. As he's already shared probably too much for him to hear, but he just kind of like looks up.
You notice that he seems to be asleep right now.
Seems asleep. Dusty asks, "Did you find anything out about him? Is there anything you should know?"
He says something is breaking. Something's all gonna die. Something about anger dying or something. Yeah. No spells affecting him though. It's just his soul has been broken apart.
One of the King Toliths that ran through the gateway, he was fearful of specifically Drow. Not his Drow though, not his people. It was a separate Drow, a separate party entirely. I tend to lean towards the belief that has to do with the Heraldry and the Drow there. Yeah, he explained a little bit of it. But he ran out, so I'm a little confused that he seems to be talking about that. If it truly did break up his personality, so it wasn't as broken as I thought it would. Oh, sorry. It's just speculation, but I figured you'd find it interesting. Anyway, I wanted to clarify. He expressed to me that he was sorry about killing his daughter. He was so distraught about it, he almost didn't want to return. at least a part of it. But another part of him still blamed her, still is angry at her, an angry part of him, anyways. I suppose I got a little bit of deeper insight in all of this after talking to my father about emotions and stuff. And I mean, people can feel all kinds of emotions at the same time. But I thought I should let you know about this. I know things haven't been amazing with your family.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah. You and Amaris both have very complicated relationships. But I really want him to give a chance. I don't know what kind of a person he actually is. I just know some of the pieces that make up his whole. Even still, I truly do believe that every person deserves a second chance. We don't understand everything about anyone, not even ourselves. How are we expected to figure out another person if we haven't figured ourselves out? Anyway. So, I'll stick here with you for now, until the others get back.
Well, thank you for telling me about what you talked about with him on the hillside. Thank you. At that point, Nuri's actually gonna pull out her flask, and she'll take a quick swig of it, just a small one, and then she's gonna just be kind of sitting quietly in the room as she had been before. If Dusty stays, she doesn't actually start any conversation, but she'll just be sitting there and she'll be like studying and tracing the rows on the flask.
Okay. Oh, also, Dusty will clarify that he misspoke. He said that the one that was sad. I don't know if he said the one that was sad went down the hill, but he would clarify that it also made it back up because it didn't. Sad. The fearful one was the one that ran back down.
It looks like she's taken note in her spell book, but otherwise she doesn't really say anything else.
Yeah, Dusty will say something.
Okay. After a little while, Tolith does wake up again. Still very dreary. I think he's had one. This would be a second long rest. So that means he's had recovered
So
2
you should
levels.
be at 2 levels of exhaustion now.
3 levels, yep. He's at 3 levels of exhaustion now. Still very exhausted. It seems at this point Miles has also recovered from his exhaustion that he had. Exhaustion's fun, yay! Tolith does wake up, and he looks over at you, Nuri, and he goes, Anastriana.
Yes, Your Majesty? She'll get up.
He goes, I love you.
Yes, Your Majesty. She's gonna pull out another ration and she's gonna be like, you should eat, Your Majesty. She's gonna start giving him some food again.
And he eats. He finishes off another ration and another whole wineskin or water skin.
Question for Nuri: is she trying to help him, or is she avoiding conversation by shoving food in his face?
I can roll insight. I'm there.
You can roll
I
insight.
can do it. I'll roll insight for you. I'm down. Dusty's down. I was debating it. I'm like, and then I reasoned through it in my head, and I was like, I already have a reason why. He has a passive insight of 17, so I was like, oh.
That's reason enough right there.
Yeah. I rolled an 18.
An 18?
For insight. That's sort of
Oh,
how she's picturing this.
18 is pretty good, actually. Okay. You would see, because you've known her for a while, you've been traveling with her for a month straight at this point. And so you would notice in her body language that when he says, when he keeps calling her Anastriana, it seems like she's just being nice, kind of like, yes, Your Majesty, like, not trying to mess with him at all, and just be like, yes, I'm gonna help you now. But when he says, I love you, Anastriana, it seems like her back kind of tenses, and it seems almost like, just like her body language, her back tensing, and then also her shoulders kind of flinching a little bit. It almost seems like she got hit by an invisible force with that. And then just like gave him the food. And so you can take what you will from that, but that's what you notice.
Makes sense. Dusty will leave it. He won't ask. Curious, but he recognizes that might be overstepping.
Okay. So, after he finishes eating and drinking, you see him kind of like stare off just like at the end of the bed. And he starts like smiling. And then he starts laughing. He's like, like he's like watching some like performance. He's yes. Very good drawing.
She kind of like looks to the end of the bed. There's nothing there. So she looks back to him.
Mm-hmm. And he's just smiling. And then his smile kind of fades as he's still looking towards the end of the bed, and he's just... His face grows somber and his eyes widen. And he grips onto the blankets that are covering him. He goes, "They're dead. They're dying."
Your Majesty, who's dying? She's gonna gently put a hand on his shoulder.
He kind of jumps at the touch, and he looks at you, and he goes, "Anastriana, they're dead. They're dying."
Who's dying?
You're dead.
I am dead. Who else is dying?
And he seems to be looking frantically around, and he's like frantically scrambling to the back against the bed, as it's almost, and he's like swatting out as if he's trying to hit back something, some invisible force that's coming at him, and he's going, "It's going to kill everyone. The darkness, it's spreading."
What darkness is spreading?
Death.
Death is spreading? Who's in danger? Our kingdom? Or the normal plane of existence?
Says it's coming. It's taken one down.
Taken who down? Which one has gone down?
Metal.
Metal? Are we talking about the Harbingers here? Do you know what the Harbingers are?
He seems not to respond to that.
Metal's down. Okay.
Dusty actually, he like stands up. He says, "What about the Dark Elves?"
It's
Are you
dark.
asking that to him?
Yeah, he stands up. He
Okay.
asks him. He's like behind Nuri. Like you like might even look over each other. Oh, he's there. Dark Elves,
He goes, the darkness, it doesn't like them. It's going after them too.
Darkness doesn't.
They created it. He created it. It's coming. It's killing.
Who created it? Who created the darkness?
King Toll, you have to work with us here.
And he's like sweating and perspirating at this point, and he seems panicked as he's pushing the covers off of him, and he kind of like backs up, and he's like almost throwing himself at you guys, not in like an aggressive way, but like I need to get away from this thing that's chasing me kind of a way. Yeah.
Dusty, he kind of like puts his hands up a little bit. He says, "King Toll, if you're okay."
And he, as you kind of like grab him, and he's like frantic, and he starts shouting. It just, you can't understand what he's saying as he's just shouting at this point, and like yelling, and just screaming more about like death and it's coming. And then finally he gets to the point where he like he tires out, and he like goes limp as you're kind of like half holding him, because I assume he was like trying to run away, and you've got like your arm in front of him, and he's like and then he just kind of like slumps over your arm and just very like warily looks up at Nuri, and he goes, "Anastriana." And then he looks up at you, Dusty, and he goes, "Let me die. I should have died." And then he passes out.
Leans forward. Dusty's just like holding up. He's got both his arms around him now.
Then Douse comes in, and he's like, "I just got back from shopping." I'm just
I got
kidding.
groceries, y'all.
Who's ready to eat? Yeah. Oh.
People like look up. You see him like the king just like flop back onto the bed.
Just flopped. You notice that like when you guys are actually kind of like look around, you notice that Thea is actually right at the doorway, and Thea is just like watching intently. She seems to like have her fist tightened.
Let's get him back in the bed. And so Nuri's gonna
Yeah, just
put
like
him back in the bed and get him all adjusted comfortably and like tuck him in.
Okay.
yeah, that's the help.
High or low, Emily?
Hi.
I gotta mark this on the high thing.
Favorite.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll have time for it, but Douse would be talking to Amaris if she had followed him to the store. But
You can get back
This
to
is-
that.
Talk.
no, I'm just
Come
looking
back
at the
to
timer.
that.
I'm like, wait. No.
important. Do the
Okay.
Do you
Douse.
want a
Amaris.
reliever of all this tension while you think of what you're saying?
yes. Go.
Okay. So, as they stepped outside of the craftsman, he'd turn to Amaris and be like, do you remember what we talked about with Nuri and her, I don't want to call it a problem, but overindulgence of the alcohol?
Yes, I do remember.
So, I mean, it's not a fully thought out plan, and you'll start to unwrap the fake flask that he has, that he had just purchased. I managed to get a replica of it, and I had the thought that we could swap it out. I don't know when would be the best time, or how, or if this is even a good idea.
Amaris looks at it and just kind of like flips it around, like just examines it.
He would hand it over.
Yeah, so she's examining it, just kind of like turning it around. This might actually work. The next problem is, what do we do with the actual one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a gift from Val, so I'd feel kind of bad if we just tossed it. But if she if she could end up showing restraint, I have no problem with her keeping her flask.
Megan, you're on mute.
You can hold. I'm not muted.
Oh, sorry. I guess you just glitched out for a second. Can you start?
I did glitch out for a bit. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. Keep going.
If she showed more restraint, then yeah, I would trust her with the flask too. But it's becoming a bit of a problem. And yes, it is a gift from Val, so just completely throwing it out, that's not an option. But maybe one of us can hold on to it.
And I mean, I doubt she won't ever find out if we do swap it out. We could maybe try making a deal of refilling her flask, and she can only have that much until she shows responsibility. Kind of a way
Maybe
to.
She finds out that we have a flask, then yeah.
Well, she's gonna find out it's swapped out at least.
Right. I'd say let's take this one. We fill it up. And we'll give it to her, and we'll see what happens.
At the very least, it'd be good for a prank. Just fill it with water.
True.
But we don't have to swap it out tonight or anything. We can think about this.
If we are going to swap it out, we're going to need a pretty good distraction in order to do so.
Agreed.
Pretty good distraction.
I mean,
Opens door.
well,
There's King
we have one coming up tomorrow with Ami and all that.
That is going to be a distraction.
a good
No,
distraction. Yes.
That could also be when she relies on it the most.
Or would she want her husband seeing her with it?
I honestly don't know their current relationship status.
I don't think they know either.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little complicated from all angles.
think she'd be more worried about Ami seeing her with it. But should something bad happen, she might cling on to it. Yes, Spock? Over there?
Sorry, I heard the word Klingon.
Oh no, we lost it.
She's gone.
Oh!
Lost forever.
Should we tag back to the other conversation?
She's back.
Yeah, let's go back to the other one.
No, she's back.
She's back.
Oh, she's back?
Probably
Oh.
need to find a better room to do this
There we
in.
That's all good. It is what it is.
So between now and when Esmond comes, we can try looking for a distraction. If she does not rely on it, while Esmond is here,
Then,
we
if she
swap
doesn't
it.
rely on it, I don't think we need to swap it out.
No, that'll be the perfect opportunity to swap it out, and then
Sure.
we can see from there.
Okay.
All right.
I'm willing to hold on to the real flask and take all the heat, because I know your relationship's already strained. I'm a random dude who can take the hate, basically.
All right.
Alright. Glad that's settled.
And do we walk in at that point?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you guys walk in at that point. Nuri, what you doing? What's the high or low?
Higher low.
After the king is back in the bed,
He is.
she'll kind of turn to Thea and just be like, "Is there something you want?"
Thea just. No, I just heard all the shouting and I figured I'd better check to make sure my dear sister wasn't getting stabbed by the likes of him.
Thank you for checking. She'll look down at the king, and people from the door probably wouldn't be able to see this, but Dusty would be able to see that she just reaches out and squeezes the king's hand, and then she's gonna leave the room. And she'll just be like, "Well, I'm gonna go get some air."
Thea kind of stops you for a moment, and I'm gonna say at this point, like, this is when Douse and Amaris come back to the boat. But Thea stops you for a second as you're like exiting the room, and she goes, "So he's your
Grandfather? Yes.
okay?" Nori, look, you know I don't like him, and that much is obvious, and I don't want to make things harder on you because I know this can be very confusing. It seems almost as if she's like reading from like a script or something.
Looks down her palm.
I know this is a confusing time for you, and I want to be there for you. So whatever you need, I'm here for you.
She's just gonna pat Thea's shoulder and say, "Do whatever you want." And she's gonna leave the room. And she's just gonna kind of say a little louder, "I'm going for a walk, I'll be back." And she's gonna start heading off the ship.
Well, as you exit like the bedrooms, you're still like on the deck of the ship, and you actually see that like Miles was waiting out there, and he's like, And he sees you kind of like walking out, like, I'm going for a walk. And he's like, hello.
She waves, and she will continue to leave the ship.
Alrighty. As you pass by Douse and Amaris as they are on the deck.
Oh, I got our food. Oh, there she goes. She's.
Well, when you say that, she stops. Just be like, "Oh, that's wonderful, Douse. Thank you so much. You're getting so good at cooking."
Don't patronize me. He's aware that was a bad. That meal wasn't good.
I wasn't.
I had little to work with, but that wasn't a good breakfast.
Douse, I wasn't patronizing you. I actually mean you are becoming a good cook. You've cooked many meals for us at this point.
Oh, thank you.
This one may not have been your finest, but it was still warm and delicious. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm gonna go for a walk. I've been cramped in a room all day, so talk to you all later. She's gonna leave the ship.
The water's lovely. You want to go for a swim?
Thank you. She'll head off into the woods, and once she's like behind a couple trees, she's gonna drink quite a bit, and then she'll keep walking around for several hours, and then she'll come back to the ship.
Nice.
You're on mute, Emily, or not making any
Okay,
noise.
sorry. I am on mute. So are you guys just going to spend the rest of the day, like, for the rest of you guys, on the boat, kind of just chilling?
Maybe. Actually, can I get a higher low for Sierra? I wanna...
Whoa, let's balance this out.
Just wanna roll for the old higher low. Oh my goodness! Very nice. I was checking to see if Dusty would follow the advices Dad gave him about emotions and stuff. And he will, actually. So, Nuri begins to storm off. And she...
Not storm off, walk off.
Walk off with a stormy aura. So he's going to he kind of like watches as she leaves, and then he just kind of like he waits a little bit. He doesn't go immediately, but he like follows behind and will like walk after her with a little bit of a push in his step. He still has got a point of exhaustion, but it doesn't impede his movement speed. So he just kind of like walks just a little bit fast, a little bit quick. And he passes by Amaris and Douse on the way out. He's just like, "Oh, hey guys."
Hey. We got the food.
Oh, that's good to hear. I'm very glad to.
Thinking of making a roast tonight.
Oh, that would be one. Yeah, might as well give it a shot.
Oh, until I forgot to get vegetables. Do you mind grabbing some vegetables while you're out?
Yeah, no problem. I can do that.
Thank you.
Of course. And he just kind of like walks back as he's oh, I can do this bit. Watch.
There we go.
Very nice. But yeah, he just walks.
Okay.
He's gonna at this point he's going to attempt to look for Nuri because she had a head start. She might even be faster than he is. She is also walking. I don't know. I would like to roll to see if he can find her.
I'm gonna say that she gets at least an hour by herself. But yeah, let's roll investigation as your or perception.
Okay.
And Sierra, you roll stealth.
We'll roll perception.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna find her, no problem.
Yeah,
14.
Drunk against a tree. What'd you roll?
14.
Alrighty, and Nuri?
6.
Okay, so you get 1 hour to yourself, basically. And then you kind of are against a tree, drinking out of your flask, when Dusty comes upon you.
So she's like sitting against the tree with her drink, and when you show up, she doesn't look startled or anything. She just kind of sighs.
Busted.
But that's it.
She sees her like sprawled.
She's not sprawled. She's like leaning against the tree, like sitting against the tree on the ground.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
sprawled out, but she has a little composure.
A little composure left. Okay, good. Yeah. Dusty kind of like walks up. He sees Nuri, and he says, what did it say? He says, would you like some tea?
I'd love some tea.
Dusty, he takes off his pack. He like sets it down. He reaches in, he grabs a cup that he brought from the boat, and then he grabs his teapot and he fills it about halfway. Just hands it to you.
It seems like for a moment just to kind of like focus her eyes, and then she grabs the cup. But she'll drink out of it.
He sits down next to her as she drinks. Roll a D100. Roll a D100.
Do I actually need to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
70.
wild magic tea.
Gonna grow horns again. Oh, horse ears. That's what I had.
Okay, so for a moment, Nuri, you just feel like complete in bliss. Like you just feel so good. So freaking good. And Dusty, you see her turn into a potted plant.
Problems removed.
We need to commission some fan art for that one.
Dusty, he like for a second he like looks down. He's like, "Oh no, what have I done?" And then he's like, "Oh, it only lasts for a minute, right?"
you would hope.
What kind of potted plant am I? Okay, this is a good question.
What kind of potted plant?
What kind of
Turn into some hops or something. Alcohol based.
I'm gonna say you get a pick. Nuri, you get a pick what potted plant you are.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
what potted?
You turned into a potted plant. And after a minute passes, Dusty, she hasn't turned back. No, just kidding. She turns back.
She wanted to stay alive.
No,
Shit
she.
like that.
Dusty,
She
like,
turned.
sits back down. He's like counting the seconds.
Yeah.
59, 60.
Yeah.
She turned into a polka dot. Polka dot plant. I don't know its actual name.
Yeah. If you want to show a picture.
Okay.
But Dusty, your count was off. So by the time you reached 100, it was technically still like 98 seconds.
Yay.
Oh, that's a cute plant.
I need 100.
Yeah, so
100. Oh, I said 100.
and then poof, she turns back into Nuri with just a little bit of dirt on her hair, on top of her head. But Nuri, for you, that was like the best 1 minute of your life. You just felt the sun. You felt like just so down to earth.
So like she comes back and for a moment she seems like there's like a smile on her face. And then it turns to Fran and she kind of just slumps against the tree, more so than she was before.
Yeah, because you have no idea you just turned into a potted plant. Dusty's like, huh? Like that cat meme that's like, huh? Huh?
And thus, her alcoholism turned into an addiction to tea.
Ah, Planty the potted plant. How unexpected. That's Silver Dusk's comment.
Awesome. Yeah, Dusty. He just kind of like he's sitting down next to Nuri, but he just kind of sits there. He says, I know I've said it before, but just to be clear, if you do want to talk, I'm here to listen.
High or low?
High. Therapy, Dusty.
Therapy, Dusty.
Therapist. Unlicensed therapy.
She seems like she wants to say something but can't really bring herself to say it, and so she's going to actually pull out her spell book, open to a page, and she's going to hand you her book and just point to a section she's written.
Okay.
It's actually written down, so I'm going to read you it. If I find the right page. It was a while ago. Okay. So I think you're the first person, actually, whoever gets to read out of her spell book with permission. Marilla was the first ever to read out of it, but she didn't have permission. So, after I read you this part, let me know if you're going to read any other parts, and I can jump around. But you just read that... okay, I'm going to read it in kind of the first person, because that's kind of how it's written. So it just says, I feel horrible and disgusted with what I've done. I feel like I'm being torn in two and that I'm a monster. It's kind of like, there's like a lot of awkward spaces. Like she's not quite sure what she's writing, but she's writing this. Where has this evil come from? Have I lost my mind? Can I be good? Could I ever recover from the trauma? I don't know who I want to be. I don't know what my moral compass is. Is it maybe because of my power? Am I getting worse the stronger I get? And that's kind of just where that little section ends.
He does flip forward a page where theoretically there would be more. If there is more, he like flips forward to see if there's any more of this sort of a writing.
If you're looking for more of that specific writing, flipping forwards, you see more of what's been happening, like King Tolith, found in Drow prison, found Miles in Drow base, Metal Man being built, Houdini returned, found a well. You know, like just, it's essentially a recap of what's happened. And then, like, Miles looks like he's been starved. And,
He
yeah.
kind of like, with that, he sort of closes it, realizing the canonical events of things. Because this has very little to do with what has just happened, and more to do with the springboard that was. Okay. He kind of like closes it with his very wise plus 4 to wisdom. He just kind of like thinks for a second. He's got like his thumb on the page. Let's see. Oh. Let's see. So he this is a great time for a one-liner, but also it's kind of not what needs to happen.
She set it up.
Yeah. He reaches. Oh my goodness. Hold on. This is important. Okay. He does a couple things. So, first of all, he is going to. So he reaches over towards his okay. He reaches over towards his back. He reaches in and pulls out a long scroll case that he has inside of it. You've seen it before. He's shown you some of his own journal entries. They're mainly like to you they seem more like the excited scratchings of a child. That is what they are in not even in comparison to what you've written, but just in general, that's basically what they are. And he brings out the scroll case, and he unravels it a little bit, pulling out a picture. It is an illustration done in a very waxy substance. You'd recognize it as crayon, or the world's equivalent. And it is a drawing of Dusty, a very poorly drawn Dusty, but it is Dusty nonetheless.
Dusty the robot or Dusty the scorpion?
Dusty the robot. Dusty the scorpion is there. I believe canonically Dusty the scorpion was on top of his head or something. And he's holding the hand of a small half-orc girl. You would recognize as Tax. And he like takes the drawing and he opens up your book again, and he like sets the drawing inside of it, and then he turns it back towards you, and he says, I'm sorry. I do not fully understand exactly what you're going through. Like I mentioned, understanding people is difficult for anyone. But I can relate to something. He then points towards the drawing of Dusty. He says, this was done by a young girl. I think she's actually older than I am. It's a little bit complicated. But it was done by someone who had a perspective of me, a certain way they viewed me. It was, she sees me as a hero and someone to look up towards. You can see I'm bigger than her in this image. I'm above her. looks up towards me. And I am not entirely sure that is how things are exactly. I look up towards her in lots of ways. But her perspective on me is not how I see myself. He kind of like shuts the notebook. And he says, I understand right now it's very difficult to see everything about yourself, about what's been going on. I mean, it's a lot to take in. I understand your pain, your frustration. At the very least, that the pain is there, and that it's very real. But I believe that you are a good person. Like I said, the perspective of a child does not always reflect everything. Who we are, who we choose to be, it's about decisions, it's about actions. But it's more than that, it's how we act after things go bad, after things go wrong. And then, again, what we do after that. We're not a single person. We're a bunch. We're a bunch of people. We're like I saw with the king. I went there and he was separated. He was broken. Dozens of pieces. And each was so focused on one thing. And for a moment, I even envied him. Had so many people to process, so many thoughts, so many emotions, complicated. But that's not how we are. And that's okay. That's why we have people around us. It's why I have tax. It's why my father has Thea. It's why you have us. I mean, things are hard and they may be hard for a long while. We'll be here with you through it, even if it's hard. He just kind of like he has handed you back the book after you like have accepted it. He just kind of like puts his stuff away back into his bag. He leaves the drawing with you though. Perhaps as a reminder, but
she just kind of nods to everything you say. And she'll open the spell book and look at the picture that's in there for a little bit, and then she'll close it. And she'll nod, and she'll stand up and brush herself off, and thank you, Dusty. I appreciate that. Well, we better get back. Don't want to accidentally burn the forest down. We should go. And
it's too moist. You couldn't burn it.
She'll
if we try.
reach her hand out to give you a hand up off the ground.
He'll get up. He'll start walking, but as he's walking, he basically will say, I don't have all the answers, but I can at the very least tell you that I believe that your goals are of saving your son are just. I don't know everything you want. What I can tell you, at the very least, care about your family. What's left of it. Things are complicated with husbands right now. But I don't know how I would react in your situation either. I don't know if this is a reaction sort of thing. I honestly probably would have reacted worse than you have. Especially if you had something just not cared about. Which is you cared about yourself. I don't think I would have shown as much mercy as you did. Maybe that makes you a better person than me. Shrugs.
That's the thing, Dusty. I haven't really shown mercy. Part of me would burn the world down to save my son. The other part would let my son burn to save the world. She's gonna take another drink out of her whiskey flask.
She's inebriated. Yeah, Dusty, he'll just kind of like nod and understand.
Oh well. Let's go see if the king is still alive.
Cross your fingers, I suppose.
You guys head back to the boat. The king is still alive. He is asleep alone in his room.
When Nuri finds him still alive, she's honestly a little shocked.
Yeah, we did leave him very alone and very unprotected from Thea, so.
Yeah.
A little shocked.
She's being a good girl. She's being a very good girl.
It's Miles.
They're swinging her arms with daggers, and then Miles is like holding her back just barely.
You notice that Thea looks very upset, and Miles looks very exhausted. When you guys see them,
is it just you, or is there maybe some blood on this table right next to these two?
Technically, yes, that's on the map, but no, you can just say that's
I
not
figured
there.
those.
Maybe that's where you butchered animals. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Alrighty. So. Sorry.
It's contagious.
I'm sorry. So you guys get back on the boat. Douse, you have cooked up a dinner for everybody, nice and hot. Everybody's eating, and your bracelet begins to get warm.
I hopped in the ocean earlier.
Yeah, but now she's thirsty.
Oh my goodness, this is like a toddler. I wasn't thirsty then, but I am now.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't an ocean to hop in. There was a lake.
Drank when we had water.
He'd water her up while he's... Water her up?
How? What are you doing?
So, just while he's like waiting for the roast to cook because it's a little bit slower or whatnot, he just kind of lean back on the counter with his bottle and just dip it over his endless canteen? No. Decanter of water and just like flip that over onto the bracelet. Just kind of like leaning, chilling
as she's like drinking up the water. And
he'd make the comment like, I'd probably, if I had a child, I'd probably be feeding with a bottle like this.
Don't you compare me to a child, boy.
It was just a thought.
Yes, and I hear all of them.
I know.
You think I really want to be in this situation?
Oh, no.
No. No is correct. Alas, this is where fate has put us.
Oh, definitely. I wasn't complaining.
Mm-mm. Do you even know what the bearer of the heart of the sea is supposed to do?
Not a clue.
The previous bearers knew their purpose, knew that they held quite the precious artifact.
This is the first I'm hearing of previous bearers.
Well, were you not taught this in your history? In your monasteries? Do you not know the purpose of the bearer?
No.
This is history. I was there when it was written.
Okay. Eat a DM. I was under the assumption that there was nothing written about her in the monastery. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Double checking.
I know. I was like, wait a second. Is this something Douse is supposed to know?
Nope.
Yeah, apparently, according to her, it is. So.
You may have been there, but I have never heard of you.
Never. I thought you were being coy this whole time.
You've seen my memories.
True, but I didn't think that you would be such a dimwit. I had more faith in you, I guess, than...
Maybe I overlooked something. I had a nickname in your mind, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a little bit more on you. There's nothing I
Excuse
could
me.
have done. There's nothing I could have done.
I am the heart of the sea.
With access to all my memories and not realizing that I know nothing.
You know, to be fair, I don't access your memories all the time. I'm not constantly prying in on your life. Sure, peek at a memory every now and then, because it's fun to see baby pictures, but, like, come on!
Baby pictures? And you wonder why I make jokes all the time about this.
Yes, because you're the child. But it's not like I'm constantly peering into your mind. I have respect. I have boundaries. I mean, not like a ton, but like I do.
Well,
why do you think I always ask people before I go into their heads? Does everybody make me out to be a bad person? I mean, I'm not even a person. I'm a being.
But I assumed you didn't need my permission at this point.
Well, I don't need your permission at this point. I just don't. Unless there's like a need or I'm like really curious.
Well, I have a little bit more respect for you now. I appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome. The other bearers also had respect for me. You really don't know anything.
No.
Well, let me tell you some history.
He's gonna like grab a chair, like spin around and just lean forward on it.
And on this account, I'm going to share this with you. As long as you get me to an ocean soon, I just need a big ocean. I want ocean water. I miss it.
I'll do what I can. We're kind of landlocked now, but as soon as I can, I will.
Okay, maybe try pouring some salt into like a bowl of water. Maybe that'll help.
You look like I don't miss the ocean either.
Well, the bearers of the elements are meant to go to each monastery, to each elemental portal, to keep them closed.
That's what we usually do on our pilgrimage.
Yes, your pilgrimage to go and keep them closed. I thought you knew that that was a bearer responsibility.
That's kind of just an everyone responsibility at this point.
But everybody can't do it. There's only 4 bearers.
Then something's gotten mixed up in history. Everybody does it.
How do they do it? They can't even.
I mean, we have our special gems. We bring one to each other place. And...
Gems?
Yes.
Oh. 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 Ooh. I think I see the problem. We've been gone too long.
We?
You didn't think that there would be a heart of the sea without a heart of the flame, heart of the earth, heart of the air?
It didn't cross my mind.
Well, now it is. And let me tell you, long while ago, it was written that each bearer of each elemental heart was meant to go to each of the monasteries, each of the elemental portals, to keep them closed. Over time, well, some of the bearers would be lost. And this is where I'm assuming they've brought in these gems to fulfill the purpose that we were meant to fill. No wonder you've been fighting so many big monsters. They're probably slipping in through the portals.
Well, I feel like we would hear a little bit more if they were coming through the portals. People are around the clock there. They're at the monasteries. I mean, not around the clock, but I mean, there's people live near them.
Well, some way, somehow, things aren't adding up. No wonder you have to do this pilgrimage anyways. No wonder there's so many people doing it. They can't handle being me, not being me.
I mean, I have nothing to compare you to. I don't know how you...
Well, I'm the greatest. You should think that.
Fair enough.
Douse.
And did you want your water or not?
I do. You give me that water.
Okay.
But we must visit a monastery soon. Soon.
All right. As soon as I get the chance, I'll head out to a monastery.
Okay. It's your duty. Well, if that's the case...
With that around the page.
Yes. Have a good night. Bearer.
Way.
And as you conclude that conversation with the being in your head, Way, we will end tonight's session. Yay!
Wow.
Just gonna be a little banter back and forth and turn it to.
It really, this is so frustrating. I really wish I had more context about what happened so long ago. I really wish I had some context.
Yeah.
Wait, long ago.
If you're
happened
interested
long ago?
in learning more about what happened long ago, 2,000 springs in the past of
Ain't
this
no way.
world, of this
Ain't no way.
continent,
If only
campaign.
there was a way to figure that
Read
out.
Nuri's
Wait,
journal.
tell me there's a way to...
Join us next Friday for the Scattering event with Tomes of the Chaos Bard.
Wow.
Whoa! Yeah, but
That's crazy. Very seamless transition.
very seamless. No. But
Yeah.
actually, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please, please, please tune in next week for the 3-part one-shot, the 3-session one-shot, starting the 17th, going on the 24th and the 31st of May. We are doing a 3-part session called The Scattering, which is 2,000 years in the past of the world of Kalenber, the world of the Harbingers campaign. And we are going to be playing out the big worldwide event, The Scattering. If you guys want to learn more about that, check out our Instagram. Also, we'll be posting Meet the Cast, Meet the Players next week as we're heading up to the actual event on Friday. So please tune in on Friday next week, May 17th. We are so excited to share with you guys. We are so excited to be with Tomes of the Chaos Bard and to be able to do this with them. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Harbingers forever. We love you guys. And Harbingers will return once the 3-part session is over. So we will miss you guys, but we will see you again in 3 weeks, I guess, technically. But join us for the Scattering event.